We are back with another Savage stream. I know I haven't been streaming that much, but hey, it is what it is. I'm back in here. I'm back to doing it. Hopefully I can maybe be a little bit more consistent from here on out. Been kind of busy doing stuff around the house and stuff, so it's been challenging. But thanks to everybody that's liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, all that good stuff. You guys are awesome. Definitely legends in my book. I would like to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about, it was announced yesterday, I believe, that one of my favorite altcoins of all time, Conceal, or CCX, will be hard forking to, well, they're going from their CryptoNight-CONCEAL algo, which is their very own. And you can see it doesn't show up, like that particular algo doesn't show up in the list for on what to mine. I don't know if it does on like MinerStat or anything like that, but the closest one right now is CNFast. So it's basically a fork. I guess it would be a fork of CNFast, what they're using right now, which is CNConceal. So this is like the value that you would use to calculate profitability on that. But they are going from CryptoNight-CONCEAL to CryptoNight-GPU, which I'm kind of excited about. And this is supposed to happen on December 18th, 2020. I don't know if it's a block height or a time, or I don't know exactly how we're going to calculate when that's going to happen. Maybe I can find that out and we can talk about that later. So let's just talk about like what's up with this change. Why would they change to a different algo? And probably the main reason would be that it's ASIC and FPGA resistant, and it really can't be used for by botnets, right? But the coolest thing about this algo, as far as the GPU mining scene goes, is that it works on older GPUs as well as newer GPUs, and it's kind of cool because it works with old AMD and new and old AMD and NVIDIA GPUs almost equally, even with low amounts of memory. You don't have to have a lot of memory because it basically doesn't use it. It uses universal floating point math, which is not real typical on a lot of hashing algos. But as far as hash to watt values go, it's like really fair across all the different hardware, all the different commodity hardware that we can get off the shelf. It's fair across all of them, AMD and NVIDIA GPUs of similar generations, which is pretty cool if you think about it. You're basically on a level playing field with old and new, both NVIDIA and AMD, so it makes it kind of neat. Levels the playing field kind of out there with, and doesn't give one particular manufacturer a clear advantage, right? So if you have those 3 gig NVIDIA GPUs or AMD that can no longer mine ETH, Ethereum or Ethash, you'll be able to point them at projects that use CNGPU, and CCX will soon be one of them on December 18th. So that is something to look forward to. The hash rate for CNGPU is tied to the actual power of the GPU and its core instead of the memory. Now that can kind of throw you off a little bit because you hear the power, and yes, it does consume a little bit more power than what you would expect from or what you would see with CN Kryptonite. So I think the average is probably gonna be like 10 or 15% more power draw. So just be prepared for that. If you're going from, if you're still mining CCX and you're going from that CN CCX or CNConceal Kryptonite algorithm, this one, the CN GPU, is a little bit more power hungry. So just keep that in mind. So because it uses that core instead of the memory, so you can't easily create a miner that optimizes or hacks the memory in order to obtain a better hash rate, like we saw with the ETH pill, right? Gave a huge advantage to don't think I'm saying that this is a hack, okay? It kind of is, because they manipulated how the NVIDIA memory was used, and gave NVIDIA a large advantage in that category. You know, ETH was not something that people mined with NVIDIA GPUs until this kind of typically, right, until the ETH pill came out. So CNGPU kind of prevents that from happening, this particular algorithm, because it uses the GPU core itself instead. So it's, you know, it doesn't give you an advantage for having large amounts of memory for these better hash rates. Memory serves little purpose at all in CNGPU, and this helps level the playing field between most available commodity hardware that's available out there, whether it's brand new off the shelf or in a rig that is at its end of life as far as Ethereum mining goes. Since it uses floating point math, I'm kind of showing you a long picture here. So since it uses floating point math, the important specification factor is the GPU's flops, or floating point operations per second number. That, and this is, you'll see this on spec sheets, you know, you see it right here. So this is something that you'll see pretty often, or actually on any GPU or processor, usually even a processor, you'll see that the T-flops calculation there, or the specification. So that's what's important with CNGPU. And it deals with the number of floating point cores on the chip. That's what is helpful to CNGPU algo. To get a rough estimate of the CNGPU hash rate from the flops specification here, you would take the number of teraflops, T-flops, and multiply it by 125. Now, this does not give you, from what I can see just doing my own calculations here, it does not give you precise. Some of them are more like 125 times, some of them are 110 times. It just depends on the other, I think it depends on the other architecture and the other hardware capabilities of the GPU itself. But just a rough estimate, you can get pretty close by multiplying the T-flops by 125. So some examples would be like this RX 580 here, gets 6 teraflops, so you multiply that by 125 and you get around 750 hashes per second. And if you flip over to like what to mine, I know I should be using MinerStat, but it is what it is. If you flip over here and go to 1580, you can see that it says for CNGPU here, it says 760. That's probably with a little bit of optimization. You know, you got some overclocks and stuff like that in here, and undervolting and all those cool things that help out the 580. So it is pretty accurate to multiply by 125 as far as the 580 goes. Now, if you look at the Radeon 7, the Radeon 7 shows up in here as 2000, just the default, you know, number based on the calculations that What to Mine has here. And if you multiply the Radeon 7, I think the Radeon 7 is, let's see here. Let's get over there. 13.4 teraflops, right? So if you multiply 13.4 by 125, you get 1675 hashes, but What to Mine is telling you 2000. So this is just pointing out, like, I don't know what it actually gets, you know, based on like actual mining. Maybe I should have looked up some videos maybe to see what people were getting on CNGPU on like the Radeon 7, but this is just a basic calculation here. Based on the little simple formula of multiplying by 125, you should get about 1675. So the NVIDIA 3080 gets 29. Let me see if I can catch up here where I'm supposed to be. I think I'm supposed to be right there. The NVIDIA 3080 gets 29.8 T-flops, and that calculation gets you to 3,725 hashes per second. But Ryo I think did we decide that it's Rio in the US? I think we did, because if you try to say Rio in the cryptocurrency Rio in Japanese, it's like Ru. I think it's something like that. Now, I'm never going to be able to say it the right way because there's like a rolled R in there or something, so it's kind of difficult for me to say, you know, with my somewhat southern accent that I have, although I've lost a lot of that since being down where I'm at. But anyway, we won't get into that. Let's see. So there is, he got this picture here, screenshot, and it's showing a 3080 at, you know, 5153, 5000, 5126. I don't know the power draw. I didn't see that in here anywhere. I don't know if anybody mentioned it, but you know, the calculations, if you multiply it out by 125, that rough estimate is 3725. I don't know if maybe that's like optimized, meaning like, you know, you can throw like a lot more power at the GPU, and CN-GPU will probably be a lot more hashes per second, but the hash per watt will drop because, you know, you can throw a lot of power at it, but you're going to be eating up a lot per hash that you're throwing the power at. So just keep that in mind. And so this is like 5150 hash per second at full power. You can see here he's got the power at like 102% here. So yeah, a lot of power. Don't know the power draw, like I said, but over 5,000 hashes per second. That's pretty crazy. So if you go over to, you can't really do any calculations because CCX, you don't know how many you're going to earn daily because it's not switched over yet. So there's not really much that we can do as far as like calculating what the potential earnings are once they actually switch over to CN-GPU. But anyway, all right, so you got CMV Jax, SerpentX Special Forces also, that did, he did a breakdown of the 3080 on CN-GPU. You go down here to, I know it's down here somewhere, there it is, Rio, or Ru, CryptoNight-GPU. It looks like he got at 100% power, he was getting 4626. But look at the watts, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of wattage. Okay, so it looks like maybe somewhere around in this area would probably be ideal. So 4385. So we're getting pretty close to that 3700 mark. You know, the little formula that you can use multiplying by 125. So it's in that area, pretty accurate, at least to give you some idea. So this was his work at it, as his post here, pretty good. I'll post this in the description. Might need a reminder for that, but I'll try to remember. And also, you want to check out his channel, SerpentX Special Forces. Over here, he does a lot of really great content on crypto mining as well. It is important to note, though, that if you don't tune the clocks and power correctly, I kind of mentioned this briefly a minute ago, it can kind of run away from you and consume like a huge amount of power real quickly. And it kind of reminds me of ProgPoW or CawPoW in that respect, except in this case, you know, you're really just using the GPU, and you're not like ProgPoW and CawPoW. They use the memory and the GPU. That's why they consume so much power, or one of the reasons that they consume so much power. And in this case, you're really not focused on the memory aspect of it, but it is using a large portion of the GPU. It's using all the cores, so the GPU core themselves. So it does consume a lot of power. And the CN-GPU algo was created by FireIce UK and PsychoCrypt over from the Rio team, Ru team. These devs, they're always looking for equality across mining networks, and they like to support all GPU miners, you know, like red team and green team. They don't have any affiliation with either, so they like to have a larger support network of hash rate by GPUs, whether it's AMD or NVIDIA. So that makes it nice for us miners that can switch around. But you know, if we have multiple types of hardware, like I do, I've got NVIDIA rigs, I've got you know, AMD rigs, so it makes it nice to see the CN-GPU algo getting implemented by one of my favorite projects. So kind of cool. You can get some great info for CN-GPU mining on the XmrStak Reddit. I think I've got that up here as well. Yeah, you can come over here to XmrStak on Reddit, and I think this is Rio also, that posted this information as well. This is some great stuff here. Gives you some ideas about what to expect from CN-GPU on all the various hardware, AMD and NVIDIA. So what miner software actually supports CNGPU? I did a little bit of research. It looks like XmrStak. It looks like SRB Miner supports it, XmRig, and also CryptoDredge. So there's about 4 different miner softwares right now. I would love to see Team Red Miner get in there and support CNGPU as well. Maybe, I don't know if Phoenix might, no, I don't think that Phoenix Miner would. But yeah, you know, having 4 different miners is pretty good, but I'd like to see Team Red Miners, you know, and maybe some other ones come up with CNGPU. And maybe as more projects move to it, if they do, then maybe we'll see more miner software that supports CNGPU. Something else that is in the hard fork is actually a mining rewards adjustment as well. It's basically a halving. It's going from, I think they're at 12.25 now. They're going down to 6 CCX for a mining reward. So they're also having basically a halving that's going to stay. I think it's going to stay 6 for a really long time. The way that their curve goes, because of the whole, you know, it deals with the staking and the WCCX, the wrap CCX, and all that stuff are factors into how they have to do their mining rewards. So I think it's going to be about 6 for a long time. All right, so for the first time, I'm going to check the chat, see what you guys are up to. I did pretty well. I didn't get distracted by the chat, so that's good. That's good. What's up, Fold'em, Crypto Mikkel? What's going on, Quibus, Dan the Dane, Trav W? What is up? Yeah, thanks for that info, man. 3.4K. Yeah, you can see you've probably got yours tuned down like to an efficient hash per second, or hash per watt, I mean. And that's probably why you're getting that 3.4K. You probably could push it and get 5 like Rue did, but or Ryu, possibly. I don't know. You know, you throw a whole lot of power at it. I don't know how you have yours tuned. It says without optimization, so I don't know if maybe you just drew back a little bit of power or what. Hey, what's up, Chris Miles? What's up, Shuby? Oh, you're doing Fireball Friday early? Okay, we are going to do Fireball Friday tomorrow as well, because tomorrow is also the 20th, and you know on the 20th we break down the previous month's mining profits, right? For the rigs that I have here that are shared, co-owned. So we're going to do that tomorrow night. That's going to be probably a pretty long stream because I got some other things I want to talk about as well. So I might actually start at 9. I don't know. I'm kind of weighing my options there. Might start at 9 instead of 9:30 because I'm sure that DCA Adventure is probably going to go live at 10. So I want to be done by then. Speaking of that, we do have something to switch over to here. Looks like, let's see here. Not Your Normal Miner is over here doing content as well on the 3080. So it looks like, if I'm guessing this is right, it was, let's see here. Am I looking at something old? October. Let's see. Let's go check, because I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at something totally old. But I guess he's got 2 3080s now. Maybe I'm just way behind here. Let's go look. Let's go look. I'm gonna feel like an idiot if this isn't tonight. Okay, so it's probably not tonight. I don't see anything for tonight. All right, so my bad. I saw this and I thought it was recent, but it's not. It's October 9th. My bad. All right. Never mind. That's funny. All right, cool. Chris Miles, no, it was not just CPU mineable, no. That's funny. Hey, let me bring up some old stuff. Why are you always bringing up old stuff, man? All right, cool. All right, so let's see what else we got going on here. I talked to some of the devs about this too. See how there's like hash rate cycling here? It looks like somebody with a large amount of hash rate is turning on and off the rig. or their farm at different times, kind of cycling the difficulty and stuff. This, happens with smaller projects. Sometimes you'll see it because there's not a lot of miners mining it, and the hash rate isn't spread out, thin enough, or there's not enough of it spread across the network. So you'll see stuff like this, kind of throttling the difficulty up and down to maximize profits. And, it is what it is. Can't do much about it. This particular fork, I don't know if that's going to have any effect on that at all, but we'll see. So Max Voltage says that Bitsby Trippin was supposed to go live to test the 6800. Do you know what time? Max Voltage? I don't do a lot of Twitch. Let's get over there and check it out. There's one viewer, that's probably me maybe, I don't know. So, don't know about that. SBBT's over there with the puppies. Alright, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. Can't tell if anything's like coming up or anything. Doesn't look like it. So we'll know. We'll check that out. Maybe I'll tweet about it if it does come up and he starts doing some testing. Hey, what's up, Serpent? I was talking about you earlier. Talking about your post on Reddit about the 3080 and what it gets on GPU. Alright, so I'm going to keep my stream a little bit shorter. I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Like I said, tomorrow night at 9:30. We will be probably at 9:30, maybe at 9. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do like a 9:15 or something. Just start a little bit earlier. But I will see you guys then. That's going to be the breakdown of the previous month. We'll talk about some other stuff. Maybe some news. I don't know. We are green. That's a good thing. We've been green a lot lately. Haven't done any streams since we've had this massive run. So anyway, yeah, looking pretty solid green here, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night. Stay savage, everybody.